it took me a little bit to get there. If you don't mind me asking, how many short films have you made by this point?
Are we counting like from when I was 12? Because we might be in like the hundreds. But no, those don't count. Those are like skits. I would say for my junior year, I've made 10, and then those two features. That's when I really like got like a good camera and all that kind of stuff. I've been doing this since I was 12 years old, making like war films with my friends in the backyard and putting the effects on, and those were good times. Those are good times, but I would not put those in my portfolio.
Right.
So I would say, yeah, since junior year of high school, I've made 10 and then these two features.
Dude, you remind me so much of myself because I started around 11 years old too with a group of friends of mine. But funny enough, it wasn't filmmaking that we started on. I actually started backyard wrestling. So
Oh, really? And you would film that?
yeah, so it was like a backyard WWE or a backyard UFC.
Oh
And
my gosh.
and I would write these storylines, and we would get different kids from the neighborhood, and we would meet up in somebody's backyard, and we would fight each other, but it would all be story driven. So essentially, what I was doing was a weekly episodic television show that started in sixth grade, and it went all the way until my sophomore year of college. Weekly episodic, story based episodes, weekly, from sixth grade all the way to sophomore year of college.
Is that like 8 years?
Yeah, so it was damn
I
near a decade of weekly episodic YouTube videos. We got a following on YouTube. We had over 2 million views on YouTube, and
Wow.
around my, I want to say, senior year of high school, I started taking a more cinematic approach to this wrestling. And so I made a cinematic fight, and we had cuts because we would never cut during the actual fights because it would basically be a Broadway performance with no cuts. It would be like a fight scene
Yeah.
that happens all in a oneer. But I eventually started taking the cinematic approach my senior year of high school, and this film still exists on the wrestling channel, and this is where I started making films. So like you said, I would have 100 by now. Me too. So we started making cinematic movies essentially, but I didn't look at them through the lens of a movie. Like I thought, oh, I'm making this weekly episodic show, but now it's like this more cinematic approach with the extreme close-ups, wide shots. The camera is cutting. We're taking a more nuanced approach to each scene rather than just doing a oneer straight through. And that progressed. We did like 3 or 4 of those. They were good, got thousands of views. People wanted more. And the way that I would always do this was I would always release in October, right before Halloween, because they were always horror centric. All my movies were always, because I'm just a big Halloween guy at the end of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
year.
yeah.
So I would post a movie every October. That was like 3 or 4 years straight. So I'd make a movie a year, and then weekly episodes for the rest of the year, until eventually, I think it was 2020, we wound up making a feature, and it was 126 minutes. No, not 126 minutes. What am I saying? It was an hour and 26 minutes.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say that's really impressive.
No, it was an hour and 26 minutes. And
Still impressive,
yeah,
but
that
yeah.
went on the wrestling channel. But eventually the wrestling channel ended because you can only wrestle and fight for so long. Everybody got jobs and moved away and everything.
Right.
I became a professional wrestler for a couple years.
Oh really?
So I was like traveling to like New York and Chicago, and I was like fighting people in like a professional wrestling ring. But I found out that I wasn't a wrestler. I am a filmmaker. I'm a storyteller. So this is the analogy that I kind of tell people. I grew up loving Rocky. Rocky's my favorite movie. I always thought I wanted to grow up to be a fighter because of Rocky. It wasn't until my sophomore year of college I found out that I actually wanted to be Sylvester Stallone and not Rocky.
Yeah. That's a great story. Have you been posting about that on your social media? I think that's awesome.
Yeah, wow.
Like
I'm so
clips about like you doing that. Like if you show yourself as a kid wrestling and stuff like that, and be like, you just tell a little story in 30 seconds of how you got to here, and then you can include that line, like that. People are gonna like that.
So here's another thing about me, Sam. So I am I don't like like I'm very introverted, but I'm extrovert at the same time. I'm a Gemini, so I have two personalities. One side of me is like, here I am, like I'm on this podcast talking to you, and I'm telling you all about me and all this stories. But another part of me, I'm sitting at this desk right here editing for 8 hours straight, and I'm just locked in, not talking to anybody for hours
Yeah.
on end, or I'm locked in a room in the dark and I'm just writing with pen and paper. So I find that I have to like put up a front to go on social media, to go on Instagram in particular, because Instagram is kind of gnarly. And I've seen it in your comment section where some people are like, "What's the point, bro?" Or it's like, "What is this? This is slop." And people like, and it's not that I can't handle the assholes or whatever, but it's like, am I frozen on your end? There I go.
You are, yeah, you are.
Okay, is that the first time that happened?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
good. I was that good because I'm gonna wind up clipping that story I told you.
I
So
was gonna say, I was about to be like,
yeah,
you just told it, so
yeah.
just use that.
So anyway, what I was saying was, it's not that I can't deal with the hate or the negative comments. It's more so it's like I have to be in the right state of mind to like do a vertical form video or like a really extroverted like thing like this. Do you find that with your own stuff? Do you have to be in a certain headspace or a mindset to like put on the front to like call people to action and to watch your stuff and be entertaining?
Yeah, it's definitely like I get that. You got to be in different mindsets for different jobs to do them well. You can do them in different mindsets and not do them well. A lot of times it's like, okay, do I look presentable today? Sometimes I do it when I don't look presentable because I'm like, I just need to keep the boat moving. I need to keep the wind at my back. And the unfortunate thing is, if you don't look attractive on social media, it significantly impacts what you're doing. So, investing in like I have this like light up here and stuff like that, just to enhance any features and all of that. So, it's like if you feel ugly today, like sometimes it's hard to do it. But like when I was doing my feature, man, I got so sick after I was done with that feature because I was stressed out about the social media side. Like I had my Meta Ray Bans recording everything. I had my phone but also I'm like trying to direct. I like don't, ultimately I focused more on the directing and stuff. I didn't want to freak myself out too much. I had a BTS guy come in, so that really helps. Um, but it's like social media is this thing that you're always thinking about. Like it's pretty much ever present in your mind, but it's also always going to be there. So you don't need to stress out about it. But it's like, yeah, the past couple days I've been really grinding on social media because I'm finally like, I have a rough cut of the feature, this, that. I'm just waiting on critiques to get back into it and to start doing the music and all that. But it's like, editing a feature film with a story and it's like meaningful versus like, kind of slop, but it's just like something really easy that's like 30 seconds. But now you have to hijack people's attention. They're two different modes of storytelling, they're two different modes of everything. That's like, yeah, I gotta spend like, if I'm gonna spend a week doing social media, I'm gonna spend a week doing social media. I'm not gonna jump into this thing. I'm gonna spend a week editing, I'm gonna spend a week editing. And the good thing about social media is you can schedule stuff and put things ahead. So you're, the thing is you got to be ever present in people's minds so that they're like, oh, that guy still exists. I wonder what he's doing. Or, if it's like people that have, influence and stuff like that, I got a call with a guy at Lionsgate, director of acquisitions, just because I kept posting about my short film. And he was like, oh, can I see it? And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. I'll send it to you. And then we got on a call and I got to know him. That wouldn't have happened if I had just been like, okay, here's my short film. You could watch it on YouTube. But I kind of was obnoxious about it and stuff like that. So yeah, you gotta have a certain level of audacity to be like, I deserve to have your eyes on my thing.
It's like this selfishness or this like ego.
Yeah.
You have to have this bravado. You have to be almost like self-centered in a sense. And I hate that about social media, that it has to be like, look at me, me. Because I don't want to portray myself like that on the internet, because I feel like on the internet you have a different personality. And I kind of want that to represent who I truly am. And I feel like that's kind of impossible when you're pushing a film or you're pushing this marketing scheme, and you have to constantly say, look at this, watch this, look what I did, look what I did. Here I am on the
Yeah.
beach filming a movie. Here I am here on set. It's like, okay, dude, we get it, but you have to do it, and that's the hump that I have to kind of get over. So
Yeah, for sure. It's one of those things. You are you, and you're always thinking about you as much as, we all want to be like, I'm super humble. That's just how humans are wired. Like, I am always thinking about myself. Like, I will post things. I'll have been like, oh shit, I posted like 3 videos today. Like, I didn't mean to. I was just in my grind. And
mhm,
people forget after 30 seconds that they saw it. But
right.
if they saw it, I don't know what the stat is, however many times, then they're like, okay, maybe I should go spend $5 to watch this film, or this or that. So it's something like you got to get over yourself. And like, I totally agree with the humble thing. I'm in West Michigan. It's just a bunch of Dutch Christians. And the whole thing here is like, be humble and be hardworking. And so, like, nobody I knew had a social media platform.
Right.
And most people you met are super quiet. They don't like talking about themselves. They'll try to spin it back on you as soon as possible. Like, it's a great place to grow up in because I learned a lot of good values. But when you try to be famous, I guess
Right.
those are it doesn't give you the audacity right out of the gate. I'm lucky I'm extroverted, because otherwise, if I was an introvert trying to do this with the thing of like, you gotta be humble, you can't brag or anything, I would it would be a struggle for
And
sure.
that's the dilemma I find myself in, because half the time I'm extroverted and half the time I'm that introvert you just talked about. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
walking the line and everything. But so this guy from Lionsgate hit you up because you're posting on Instagram Reels or TikTok?
Yes, sir. Instagram Reels, yeah. I don't mess with TikTok. Nobody likes my stuff on there.
I fucking hate
Nobody
TikTok,
likes my
dude.
stuff.
I hate TikTok.
I'm not like 10 out of 10 like super sexy, I'm not dancing as well, so I think that's why it's not working. So yeah, just Instagram for me.
Yeah, I'm just on Instagram too. I kind of despise TikTok. I don't know why. Instagram Reels just works for me more than TikTok does.
Yeah, it's more businessy, and you can like DM people and get
Exactly.
things. It's more professional, so
Yeah.
that's why I like it for sure.
So you were posting clips from your short, or you were literally posting behind the scenes and you talking about it?
Yeah, behind the scenes and me talking about it, and then yeah, and then there was like a trailer on my page as well. I'm not sure. I don't remember what got him to reach out to me, but it was something like that.
Wow, dude, that's freaking awesome, dude. Congratulate. That's awesome. So
Yeah, super excited. I was like, dude, I'm gonna be the next Kane, and then that didn't happen. I was not gonna be the
is
next
this
Kane
the
Parsons.
post that I saw on your account where you said you got offered a movie, like $1 million movie or something?
That, yeah, the $5 to $10 million budget movie, that might have done it too, because when people see, it's like you see a girlfriend, you see a guy with his girl, and you're like, oh, she must be awesome because he chose her. That psychology applied to that, I think, because a lot of people messaged me after that post. I was unfortunately like, it wasn't really a scam, but it was a WGA writer and his agent, and I got super excited, so I just posted that video, and then I kept looking into it and read the script, and I was like, the script is terrible. Why did you want to get $5 million for this? So yeah, if you do a bit of LARPing, you'll get a lot of followers, but it comes at a cost, because I got a lot of haters in that comment section.
Oh, because you said that. Okay.
Yeah, they're like, bro, you're an idiot, you're getting scammed, bro. I was like, whatever.
So
Just don't look at the comments.
was it that post? So that post wasn't the Lionsgate guy.
No, it was not. It
Oh,
was not that guy. That might have been something that he
prompted him
was like,
to.
oh, what? And then looked at my page and then reached out. I don't know.
Dude, so that's the thing about social media. You can just go on there and freaking lie about
You
anything.
can just lie. Yeah, and that's what everyone thought I was doing. Because of like
Not
Kane
a bad
Parsons
idea.
and Corey Barker. They were like, oh, one guy even posted on his story, and this like made me so upset. He was like, look at what people are doing now that Kane Parsons and Curry Barker are popular. They just go on the internet and lie and say this and that. And I'm like, dude, I'm not lying. It's a real email. Like, they are offering it to me. They might not be super, like, trustworthy or anything, but it's a real person. And because I did my research on that. So I was like, that's what I was, like, excited about. But yeah, that's how the internet is. People, like, say what they want to say.
No, I saw that post and I found it hard to believe as well. Like I was like, 5 to 10 million. Like, are they looking to raise that? Are they throwing that at you? And
Yeah, it was definitely we have to find a producer and raise this. And then I was like, I don't know. I'm 19. I was like, this is sick. And then people were like, this is not sick. You're a liar. And I was like, crap. So, whatever.
So wow, dude. So your social media is obviously working. Here we are talking. You had a Lionsgate guy hit you up. You had this WGA writer and his agent hit you up. Dude, you're killing it. I'm freaking excited to just be talking to you here today, dude. It's awesome. I just saw Rosemary last night in preparation for this podcast, dude. I loved it.
Yeah? Did it make you cry? I hope not.
No, I didn't cry. I just
Okay.
I was blown away by the performances. Did you?
Yeah, they were so good.
Or
No, one of them was one of my friends from high school, and then the other was actress from Detroit who was like, I grew my hair out and I need more stuff for my reel with my long hair. And I was like, so you'll do it for free? She's like, yeah. And she paid for her own hotel and all that. And I was like, oh my gosh. So, yeah.
So I'm assuming the amazing. Friend from high school isn't the older woman.
No, you'd be correct. Yes, that's correct.
That was a shitty joke. So
that's funny.
The older woman, the older actress, the performer, she's from backstage or something.
No, what I do is I post on Facebook. Because those people that are on backstage and stuff, they're on Facebook. So I go to whatever. There's like 4 ones in Michigan, and I just go, hey, looking for actors that are this. And you'll get a bunch of replies, and then you just hold auditions. And then I did the same thing for the location. I went to my like local town Facebook group, and I was like, hey, does anybody have a house we could use for free for filming? And the lady who was like, yes, was super nice. She like let us do whatever we wanted to the house, and it all worked out so smoothly. I was like, this thing just wants to be made.
So location came from Facebook and the lead actress came from Facebook.
The supporting actress came from Facebook. And then the lead, I would say, was yeah.
She's great. Your friend.
She is so great.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was watching The Odyssey, I was like, bro, she looks like Anne Hathaway. She could be the next Anne Hathaway. I'll be the next Christopher Nolan. Let's do it.
Yeah, she was good, dude. She was really, really good.
Yeah, that's what everyone says, and I'm like, she does modeling primarily.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, you gotta make a reel or something and get more acting jobs. She's doing a feature with my other friend right now, kind of like a really low budget, shot on his phone kind of deal. But yeah, she's great. I love her.
That's great. Okay, so what'd you shoot Rosemary on?
We shot it on a, let's see, Ursa Mini, 4.6K.
Ursa Mini.
Yeah.
4.6K?
Yeah.
Dude, what's that like to edit? Those files got to be huge.
Yeah, it was like, oh man, like 700 gigabytes for, a 10-minute short.
Yeah, that sounds.
My computer was struggling. It was like, yeah, it was. I had to upgrade my computer back in the fall because man, the computer I was using was like just not cutting it. And even this one, like, I had to open windows. Like, it was getting hot in this room here. Like, wow. It was working overtime. So having the right equipment is like super nice because it would stutter and all that. But yeah, no, it was like. It was actually really hard to edit because I was so emotional. I just knew during the dinner scene, like I was like, I don't want to get to this yelling part and stuff like that because this film was. Do you mind if I go into this?
No, go into it.
Yeah, so the film was super personal to me. It was actually about um, getting cheated on and then having to try and forgive that person. And I sublimated that into a grandma, like, you keep remembering this incident, and she keeps bringing up this incident, and you don't want to get mad again because this person, they know they screwed up. You don't want to, keep making them feel bad about it. But then sometimes it just gets to a point where you've been thinking about it, and it's just like you haven't let anything out. And that's how I sublimated that feeling into something like that. I've never been around somebody with dementia, and all the comments on like the YouTube video, on the Instagram video, were like, "This was like, as a caregiver, like this, like I couldn't watch this. This was like so hard." And I was like, "Really? That's crazy," because I just didn't know what I was talking about, really. So that's what that short film was really about.
Dude, I was gonna ask you, is it really about somebody with dementia, or is it some sort of a metaphor for something else? I had a feeling it was a metaphor for something else, but I didn't want to jump to conclusions, like if anybody in your family or if you were a caregiver for somebody. But dude, so I do this all the time. I have this idea. That idea you just mentioned is great, and then you hide it in another idea. So you're talking about something that's very, very personal, but it's
Yeah.
hidden under so much subtext, or this, basically this skin. You're putting a skin over the idea, and you're making it more easily digestible for people, or more appealing, or you're opening up the lanes for people to receive it. So now people who are caregivers, people who experience dementia, will relate, but also somebody who did get cheated on, like you said, could see how that main character was finding it hard to forgive their grandmother for causing the death of her parents. And,
Yeah.
and so now the person who was cheated on, or anybody who's having trouble forgiving somebody who's in their life, could relate to it. So, dude, great job. That's awesome. And I don't ever see or talk to people who have that same track of thinking. Like I've only ever, like, all the filmmakers I talk to, or like friends of mine, they're always like, it's almost always on the nose with this story. It's like, oh yeah, and then this story about this. But I'm more like you, and it's like you gotta hide that stuff in layers, or
Yeah.
metaphors. So it's really cool to hear that that's really about somebody getting cheated on and you're trying to forgive them. I would have never
Yeah,
guessed.
that's I didn't want to make it about that because that would hurt too much. So I think that's the correct way to go about it, because you're making this idea digestible in a different way, but people can still pull the meaning. Like, if you can take this idea, make it not on the nose, put it into something else, and people still pull the meaning you wanted out of it, that's amazing. Like, that's what you want to do. So that's my goal with everything. With my next feature, it's like, it's got the time travel, it's got all this. But, I try to put these themes of, like, this woman, her father abandoned her at birth, and she has gone through such hardship. She got raped, and she chose not to have an abortion, and the baby gets taken from her. And then her baby from the future, 19 years, comes back to try and tell her, hey, your dad's actually not this bad guy. And so I used that. The analogy I wanted to use for that was when I feel like God has, like, abandoned me. And it's like, you go through a really hard time in life, and it's like, where is God? And that's the Father. Like, you don't realize. And then as you grow and you learn, I realize, all these things that have happened in my life have been for my good, even though they were super hard. So that's what that section of the story is about. And that's, like, I love doing that because people aren't going to grasp that maybe if I don't explain it to them. But one day, I hope there's people that are like, the hidden meaning in Sam Ver Merris' newest film.
Wow. Dude, okay, so you have a lot of spiritual almost ideas in your movies, or I don't know if spiritual is the word, I don't think religious is the word, but these these ideas and these themes, and I kind of have the same thing in my movies. So
Yeah.
you know, I want to ask, do you have this mindset behind everything you do? Because a lot of your stuff also has to deal with the subconscious, has to deal with dreams. So how much, I guess what I'm trying to ask is, how much does this consume you? Because if I'm speaking for myself, I'm like a creatively minded person, and I'm always like, oh, what did this dream mean? Like, I just had this crazy dream, and now like I gotta write the script about it, or like, no, like I just had, there's a synchronicity that just happened. It's the universe, it's God telling me that I have to do this. Like, how much of that is relatable for you? Are you the same way? Are you like me?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yep. I like with my dream reality, like I have a scene where we're at the climax, or everything's falling apart for our main character. So I decided the dream is going to be him falling down this icy hill. He can't stop himself, and then like just because everything's falling apart for him, I was like, that's what I think dreams mean. So man, I want to make another movie about dreams, because you can just do whatever you want, because it's a dream. It doesn't make sense, right? But you can make it make sense with whatever imagery you want. So yes, absolutely. I love doing stuff like that. But then, yeah, also it's like, you know, I feel very deeply when it comes to emotions and stuff like that. And I'm a religious man, and so I know God is in my life working and all that. And so I'm like, but I don't want to be like, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie like God's Not Dead or anything. I absolutely abhor that movie
You don't want
because
to
it's
be
terrible.
handed, right? You don't want
Very heavy-handed.
Yeah.
And that's not how I just want to plant the seed, and I want to let God do the work. However, and I want to in a lot of these Christian movies, it's like it's literally just a sermon dressed up as a movie. And I hate that, because that's not what movies are for. I can go to church and hear a sermon.
Right.
But I want to, show people like, hey, these values that I espouse, that I love, that have changed my life because of Jesus, I'm not going to maybe even explicitly mention Jesus, but these things like forgiveness, these things will overcome all these terrible things that our characters face in the movie. Whatever sin or hardship they face, these values, these fruits of the Spirit is what I usually go back to try and write these things, will overcome all the terrible things have that happen in life. And you're not going to have a perfect life after, but you can find respite in them. So that's always something I'm going back to, because I want to change people's hearts. I want to change people's minds, but I don't want it to be they feel like they're being lectured. I want them, if they could watch it and they could pull a totally different meaning out of it from whatever they want. They could be like, Buddha said that. And I'd be like, you know what? That's fine. Like it's still a good thing that you're pulling out of this, because I always want my movies to end hopefully, because in the end, I think everything is going to turn out great in the end.
Dude, I feel like I just met myself from another universe. Everything you're saying sounds like me and what I tell my friends and my cast and my crew as we're filming. It's like, I don't care who said it. If it was Jesus, if it was Buddha, if it was the Hindu gods, if it was the Greek gods, like if they just get a message, or they think it's the universe, or they think that it's just, everything happens because whatever, if they get a message from it and they think that that's what I meant, good. Then that's my job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tell me if I'm crazy, but I think that movies and film is modern day church. So you go to the theater in a dark room, you're collective with, a group of people, and on the screen is the sermon, or the preacher, the speaker, whatever you want to call it, whatever your, walk of life calls for. And the movie is telling you things, and you're receiving things, and then there's this collective energy with the people in the room with you, and you're all experiencing the same thing at the same time. And when the movie crescendos, you all are on this high, and when the movie crashes and it's sad and it's depressing, you all feel sad and depressed. And then the message at the end, if it's a good film made by competent filmmakers, you will get the message, and you will leave a changed person when you leave through those doors of the movie theater at the end of the experience. Am I crazy in saying that it's that way, or what?
Yeah. I would say, modern church is a modern church, but it's absolutely the same experience. Like I'll go into church on Sunday feeling pretty bad about myself for whatever reason, and then I receive this message of good news, and I come out like I can conquer the world. And a lot of times that's how I come out of the movie theater as well, for different reasons. Usually very inspired, and like I gotta go edit this film now. Like I've been putting it off or something like that.
Right. Isn't that why
Or
people
it's
go to
like,
church to get inspired and to feel better? It's almost like why
yeah,
people go to the
yeah,
movies.
yeah, for sure. So that's like it's very like it's very similar, and I think it's got the movies have that power to them. They really can change your life, and that's why I want to bring the good news to that, right? Like that's if you can do it there as well. That and like people are like that made me feel good. That inspired me and stuff like that. Like I'm all for that.
The thing I like about movies is that, like you said, it's not heavy-handed when it's done right. It's giving somebody a message
Yeah.
without spoon-feeding them, without forcing your thoughts and your opinions and your ideology onto them. It's like putting it into these characters, and if you like these characters and you like this story, then maybe you'll get the message, and maybe you will apply that message to your life. Like my new movie,
Absolutely.
29 Seconds to Midnight. It's the first time that I'm going for this theme of love. Usually my movies are very sad, dark, and depressing, and
Yeah.
linger in the dark, grimy aspects of life because I feel like you learn a lot in the darker aspects of life. But in this new movie, 29 Seconds to Midnight, it's all about love. But I don't show love as a cartoon cliche. I show love for all of its facets, right? So there's a man and a woman and their love, and it's righteous and it's pure and it's desirable. But then I show that same couple, and it's based on real life. They fight, they argue, they scream and yell at each other. The one person lies to their partner because they think it's for the greater good. But is it for the greater? Is lying ever for the greater good? Even if he's doing a good deed per se, he's doing something for the betterment of the relationship. Is it really good? Like, let me give you an example. In the movie, the main cast of characters decide to rob a bank. The one friend in the friend group is diagnosed with lung cancer, and him and his brother, they live in South Philly. They're hardly making ends meet, and the other group of brothers, because the movie centers around two sets of brothers, twins, and then my character Raph and Nikki. And so we learned that our friend Donnie is diagnosed with cancer and he can't afford the treatment. Now me and my brother, we can barely make ends meet in and of itself. And I just moved out of South Philly because I'm trying to get out of the criminal crime underworld. And so I moved to New Jersey with my girlfriend, and I'm trying to start this new life. I'm looking for a job. I'm looking to live clean, no crime. I learned about this cancer diagnosis. We need money quick. I can't afford the house that I bought because it's expensive, and I have no job, and nobody will hire me because I have no resume because everything I used to do was illegal. So
Yeah.
now I am forced with this dilemma. Do I go and commit one more crime? Do I go and rob this bank to get this money for my friend's cancer diagnosis, his treatment? Do I get this money for me and my girlfriend's new house? Or do we get evicted and does my friend die? So I can rob this bank, and it seems like there's a lot of good that will come out of it. But at the same time, I'm going to have to lie to my girlfriend because I told her I wouldn't be involved in crime anymore. And I'm robbing a bank. That's a morally wrong thing to do. But is it wrong if the outcomes are life and this relationship thriving? So.
Yeah, that's what I love. That's what I love. That conflict rife story, like where people are gonna have opinions whether that was right or wrong. That's great.
Yeah, so that's what 29 Seconds to Midnight centers around. And I love the duality of good versus evil, and sometimes you have to be evil for good outcomes.
Yeah, that's such an interesting like the take on it. It's like I don't know if you're doing anything like, oh, it's the system that or anything like that. But yeah, I always love those like morally dubious, like, but relatable. That's what I love about movies. You can put yourself in a situation where, yeah, I was like this like criminal. Like I can attach myself to that character for 2 hours and think I was like, feel like I was that criminal and put myself in that world but not actually have to suffer the consequences of being a criminal and doing all that.
That's what's good about movies. It's like watching something without suffering the consequences. So you can live in the shoes of this criminal doing bad things, robbing people for the greater good, almost like a Robin Hood kind of a thing.
Yeah,
And you don't have to rob a bank to get that experience, you know?
exactly. Yeah, that's what I love.
That's what I love about movies as well. And that's what I'm trying to do in 29 Seconds to Midnight, but I neglected to tell you that halfway through the movie, without giving away any spoilers, something happens in the bank robbery, and it turns into a Nightmare on Elm Street kind of a situation.
Oh boy. All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to watch this. That's
Yeah,
great.
it turns into a Nightmare on Elm Street, kind of like a Donnie Darko thing, mixed with Silent Hill. So basically,
Oh,
this
okay.
movie, 29 Seconds to Midnight, is Reservoir Dogs meets Silent Hill, meets a Nightmare
Yeah.
on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger, and they made a film baby.
You've got like a psycho like genre switch halfway through.
Yeah, it's like a barbarian kind of a thing. Halfway through the movie, it begins a new movie. But then it
Really?
comes full
Okay.
circle to what was happening in the beginning, and it's like, oh, wait, so the bank robbery was just the beginning of the movie, and now we're in this whole other plot, which seems like it has a whole other, storyline, but this storylines converge, and it's this full circle moment about love, and how if you choose love, you'll be better off for it.
Yeah, and that's very true. That's real. I'm excited to see that. What do you think that movie's gonna be like? How long you maybe in post? How long you think you're gonna
So
take to release that?
I'm in post right now. We have the rough cut done. I've been working on sound for the past 2 weeks. I've been editing 8 hours a day, every single day. We're sitting at a runtime of 2 hours, 5 minutes, and it's going to be released in AMC Theater this October. It's a local AMC Theater by me.
Yeah, no, that's still great, dude. Yeah, make sure you get that. Yeah, that theatrical release is like that'd be awesome. How much did that cost you to make?
So the movie was made for $0.00.
Really?
So what happened was I invested in, my camera, so I owned that. I invested on. I have this whole wall I'm looking at of gear. It's a whole wall, pegboard of gear that I've accumulated over the years because I told you I was making the weekly episodic television episodes basically on YouTube for like 8 years. So I accumulated tripods, lights, gimbals, all things. So I own all my gear. All my cast and my crew is my friends and actors from backstage who are just looking to get stuff on their reel. And I became friendly with them, and now I'd say we're friends. So I asked them, well, they actually asked me to write them a part in this movie because they were a part of my last movie, Do Not Watch This Film. And they were minor characters because I didn't want to give these people I never met from backstage a big role because I didn't know if they'd show up for all the shoots. So I gave them like a minor role, so they only had to come like 1 or 2 nights. And then they were phenomenal to work with, great performers. They pulled me aside on set. They said, hey, like for the next thing, could you write me in? And I was like, yeah, like I'm always looking for new actors, especially to give a lead role because it's a lot of pressure to give to somebody, especially a non-actor. So I was able to give those lead roles to real actors this time around, and myself because I'm in this movie. So it's a labor of love, and it was made for $0.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I assume you really scrounged up the locations and whatever props and stuff you needed. Like that's the what's the word? I don't know. Scrappiness you need to make a film like these days, especially like if you're working class. Like if you're not an Nepo baby, you gotta lock in almost and do both. So that's awesome, dude. And it's so interesting to me. Like I almost feel bad when it's like, dude, you got all those followers, and then I meet someone who doesn't, have that success yet, and it's like they've done this crazy stuff, and like they totally deserve it, like, because they're just two different skill sets, and it's like,
I'm not a social media guy, but I'm working to get there. But yeah, I see what you mean, and I feel you.
yeah. So it's like that's an insane story, and it's like that's the stuff that's going to get you followers. So I think you just keep your head to the table or whatever. I don't know what that saying is. Keep working at the social media thing because the thing is, good ideas always rise to the top. And we made a 2-hour feature film for $0 is a good idea, and you can belabor that, and people will love it.
Yeah, it's a matter of me sitting down and doing the reel. So hopefully I'll probably clip this call and
Definitely.
I'll make some stuff and you're more than welcome to do the same for the stuff you've talked about Dreamality and Rosemary and everything. And dude, this has been great. I think that we're both on the up and up. I'm happy that we got to connect and meet.
Yeah, me too, dude.
Yeah, I'm happy
It's awesome.
to connect and meet. We're gonna have to do this podcast again, dude. Like when you're done your feature and I'm done mine, we'll like talk about it and yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would love to. I would love to. Where do you post the podcast generally?
So podcast is on Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon, like everywhere you get podcasts, and YouTube.
Okay. Yeah, you'll have to send me links to that so I can share it with people and stuff like that. That'll be awesome. And on YouTube, you can do like the what's it called?
The collaboration.
The collaborator thing.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, you can do that if you want. And it'll go on my channel or whatever.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, dude, do it. Let's do it. That'd be awesome.
All right, we're gonna collaborate on this. It'll be out, God willing, Sunday. But I got a lot of post production work. But that doesn't matter, dude. I'm of the thought.
Don't worry about it.
No. Tell me, no. I'm not that guy, and I know you know what I'm saying. Tell me if you're the same. I use all 24. I say this to people all the time. I use all the 24 hours in the day. So like everybody, all my friends always ask me, like, Max, how are you making a feature film that's over 2 hours? You're filming it every weekend. You're working your 9 to 5 job. I just moved out with my girlfriend, so we now own our own house. And so I'm working my 9 to 5 job. I have 3 jobs, mind you. I work morning and night. I find time to edit on my off days. Find time to do a podcast. That's why probably social media is falling on the wayside. But I gotta boost that part of my skill set up. But yeah, I use all 24 hours.
Dude.
Like I'll wake up at 6 a.m. and I won't go to bed till 2 a.m. if it means I get my work done. Are you the same way?
Man, being living at home with mom and dad, I have fallen away from that. That's how I made my first feature, though. It's like when the bills are paid and the stomach is full, you get a little complacent. So I'm hoping once I go down to Atlanta, I'm paying my own bills and having to do all that to survive. Like that's where I thrive, definitely. Like I love that. Like it's a challenge. It's a challenge and I love it. And especially I'm just like such an independent guy. I'm always trying to do stuff like that. So like that sounds fun to me. I don't know about the 2 a.m. bedtime. Maybe like 12, but yeah. That's awesome, dude, that you're on that grind. Like that's what it takes for sure.
Dude, I'm definitely on that grind because, like I said, we just moved out and everything. So, and a part of the reason I wanted to move out was I didn't want to be complacent. I felt like I was complacent at my dad's house, living with him, because the bills were paid, the groceries were paid for. And now that I've moved out, I have this awesome space, this office, but I pay the bills, and I have to really put my nose in the dirt and do the work, or else this house won't be paid for. And
Right.
That's why I moved out, because I wanted to really force myself to do the hard work that nobody really wants to do.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what you gotta do. I'm a little soft. I'm like, I'll work 4 hours and I get paid more than my friends do in the week, but I need to get back into hard work. Like I just gotta get back into it. I've been away from it for too long, and I enjoy it. So it's like,
It seems like you're doing
I know I will
hard
once
work. Sam, it looks like you're doing hard work. I see your Instagram. I know that shit's not particularly easy to curate and to set up, especially all of the different aspects that you have going with the DMs, with the channel, with the group that you have going, and then your films. Not to mention everything else you do on social media. You're doing the work.
Yeah, try it. It doesn't feel like a day to day, but and maybe I'm just blessed to have that free time to play my video game for an hour a day or something like that. So
I think we're of the same creative mind, where it feels like we're doing work, but it feels like we're doing nothing at all. Meanwhile, what we're doing, 80% of the population wouldn't or couldn't keep up. So
yeah, I would agree. You gotta practice some gratefulness so you can realize how far up the staircase you've come, and then because I feel like I'm always looking up at where I want to be, and I never look back to see where I came from.
Don't change. Always look up, because then eventually when you reach the top and you're still looking up, that's when you start to make the change that nobody's ever seen in the world.
Very true. You start building a new staircase.
Literally a new staircase. Well, talking about being grateful, I'm grateful that we got to have this chat today. I think we're gonna leave it here. We'll pick this up whenever you want to hop on the podcast. I try and post every Sunday. I've been a little bit lax recently. Sorry everybody listening because the post production 8 hours a day, dude. But yeah, we'll do this again, Sam.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for having me on, dude.
Thanks, dude. Okay.